to kind of give you a little bit of background about where we're going and what kind of has been driving our plan. And as you can see on the left, the quote regarding children physically being out of school could have long-term detrimental effects on their progress, their mental and emotional well-being and behaviors. And I know these young adults coming to us aren't necessarily children per se, but what we provide, we feel pretty strongly that the hybrid that we have offers that in-person component to it because it's so very hands-on in so many cases. And also on the right-hand side, you can see that we've thought long and hard about this plan. And we know that in March, it was chaos. And we were all responding to crisis when it came to what education was going to look like when we were under a statewide mandate to shut down our buildings and campuses. But this time we wanted to be a whole lot more thought out and planned and be able to provide the elements that you see under that blue with teacher-led instruction and be more purposeful and integrated and how we're going to grade and those sorts of policies and processes and be able to communicate that with you folks. And so today we're really glad to have you here, grateful that you joined us, and we hope to provide you with the information that you see there, as well as kind of help you understand the health and safety precautions that we are taking here at the CTC to make sure that all students and staff are safe. Of course, what's guiding us is we feel strongly here about educating the whole child and making sure that they feel healthy, safe, engaged, challenged, and supported, regardless of what setting we're in. And why I say that because you all know by now we have a hybrid plan. So some of their settings going to be remote learning and some of it's going to be right here on campus in their lab. We also have to take into account the fact that our other districts are impacted by what we do, and busing is just one example of how we definitely work collaboratively to make sure. We also have half-day students, and some of you may either be half-day students or parents of half-day students. So we are working with other districts in that regard, and you'll hear a little more about that later. The reason we selected this hybrid plan and created a lab-only setting is so we could minimize movement. And that's not just for health and safety, but should someone come down with it or have symptoms, that helps a lot with contact traceability. And so we will be taking all precautions to make sure that not only is there minimizing movement, that when they are working in groups, if necessary, that's minimized as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in one of our videos coming up. And of course, we want you to know that we are going to maintain protocols for staff and students. And these things include but aren't limited to what you see on the screen there. If you don't have a screen, then what's on there is that we're going to be assessing symptoms daily. We're going to talk about that process here. We're going to increase our sanitation processes and just disinfecting. We'll talk about that. We're going to incorporate social distancing, and then we're going to also, of course, ensure facial coverings are worn. Again, I thank you for being here. I'm Michelle Patrick, the superintendent, and I wanted you to know that we have an amazing team that has been working diligently here since July 9th. We've met weekly to collaborate. We have, of course, worked with other individuals, local districts, CTCs across the state, our local health department. We watch our statewide orders constantly and the governor's updates, and all of those things considered, paired with what we do as a career tech center in providing workforce development education, we felt like this hybrid plan could meet all of those needs and keep everybody safe. We have a little bit of meeting etiquette that you probably see there on your screen, but if you don't have a screen, I'll just kind of give you an update on what that looks like. You're going to see a series of pre-recorded videos, and these are on several topics that I had sent out on Facebook, actually. And these are, of course, relevant to our reopening plan. Throughout the time, if you have questions or thoughts while a video is playing, please put those in the comment box. If you're not familiar with Zoom, hover over the bottom of your screen. You'll see a chat feature or a little chat bubble. You can just click on that, enter a comment or a question, and that'll show up on the right side So after each video, then we're going to pause that, and I'll just kind of moderate questions. Because some of you don't have the screen to view, I'll reread the question, and then either I'll provide an answer, or the individual on the team who was responsible for that video will provide that answer. If you have additional questions, let's say we saw a video and then 2 videos later you have something maybe pertaining to that first one, hold off on those, and at the very end of all of the videos we'll answer all of those additional questions, or maybe questions that don't seem relevant but they probably are. All of the videos, of course, are pre-recorded. They're part of this. They're also on our website at that very bottom link. Again, we'll be putting that out there to the public on Facebook and on the front page of our website. But you'll be able to watch each one individually rather than watching this whole Zoom, just in case that is something that you're interested in. We will also be putting out a form on that same location where if you have additional questions, you'll be able to go in there and type in those questions, and we'll keep our frequently asked questions updated, but we'll also try to respond to you as individuals. Okay, so we're going to begin the very first video on the daily wellness check and what that's going to look like.
Hello, I'm Laurel Lemmer, English Coordinator for Springfield-Clark Career Technology Center. Today we're going to be looking at 2 daily forms that students will be completing, as well as the process for incoming students to submit their ID photo. The first form we're going to look at is the Daily Wellness Check, and that can be found on the scctc.org website under Students/Parents and Daily Wellness Check link. This will take the student to a Google form that should be completed every day, and it is asking for any symptoms that may be being experienced. This information will be recorded and reviewed by the appropriate staff at Springfield-Clark Scctc. The second form we're going to look at is the daily lunch order. Again, from our website, under the Student/Parent header, you'll click on Daily Student Lunch Order. When you click on that, you will be taken to a screen that has order form links for each day of that week. The lunch orders are due daily by 8 a.m. You can order for multiple days at a time, but please note that currently most students will only be on campus for 2 days a week, so please only order for the days you will be on campus. We are doing the online lunch orders because of the way that we are providing lunch this year. Students will not be traveling to the cafeteria. They will not be waiting in line. Lunches will actually be brought to their lab or the location where they are eating so that we can maintain distance as much as possible. Payments for lunches can be handled online, and you can see our video about online fees for more information about that. The third process we're going to look at today is for incoming students to submit their ID photo. Again, on the CTC website, there is a header with incoming students, submit your ID photo by August 21st. Click here. And here you'll find information about the requirements for submitting the ID photo. Please note that only incoming students will need to submit a new photo. Returning students will use their ID from the 2019-20 school year and will not need a new ID. If you click here to submit the photo, it will take you to a Google form that is completed. The photo is attached and submitted. If your student is unable to upload an image, or we are unable to use the image that has been sent, we will find a time to take your photo on campus. If you have any questions, please contact the school at 937-325-7368.
Okay, thank you. We have a few questions that came in, so I'm going to address those. The daily wellness check, the question is it only being done for days on campus or each day that you're in school regardless? And Haley, I'm not surprised that this just happened, but it's one of those things that you brought up that is a great discussion point that we need to figure out. So we were thinking only on campus, but it may make sense for us to expand that thought. So I want to talk with my team about that and see where we're at as a group, and then we will communicate that to everyone. If you are a second-year student returning and you do not have your ID, please remember then you'll be charged for a new ID. But yes, you can submit your photo the way that you saw an incoming student would submit and receive a new ID. We are trying very hard, like we said, to eliminate the movement and to make sure that we maintain distance as much as possible, and to, of course, limit groupings. So we were trying to get those photos ahead of time. If you can't do that, we will take those when you get here. So I saw that Samantha asked for a new ID photo. And Samantha, the good news is you can select that if you want and upload it this year to that, just like the incoming students. So, and again, Barb, that is the same. If the seniors cannot find their ID, they can submit through the same process online, a new photo, get a new ID, and then IT will print those and students will receive them in their labs. Please keep in mind, again, seniors, or returning students, if you've lost it, you will be charged for another one. The only other thing I wanted to add to that, and please keep the questions coming if you have them, with respect to the wellness check, that contact tracing is still the responsibility of the Clark County Combined Health District. And so we will be turning over information as we may need to you, and talking through that with you. We will also have a form that all districts will have that is for parents to allow a release of information from the Clark County Health Department to us. You don't have to sign it, but it certainly would be one of those things that you want to consider whether or not that information is something that you would want to get passed back to the school. So that form will be submitted to you very soon. Haley, yes, I hope you saw Jeff's. And for how much are the replacement IDs? They are $5, and the new ones are as well. Any other questions? If not, okay, we will go with our next topic.
Hi, I'm Nathan Lasso, Director of Career Tech Education. For your convenience and safety, we're offering incoming students with 2 options for open house this year. We have both an in-person option and a virtual option. The virtual option will be available on the Springfield-Clark Scctc's website under Programs. The in-person open house will take place by appointment on Thursday, August 20th and Friday, August 21st from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. If you are interested in this option and you have not yet received the email about scheduling an appointment, please call the school for assistance. To promote safety and wellness, please park in the area closest to your son or daughter's career technical program and proceed to the indicated entrance. Please take a moment to find your career technical program and entrance on the diagram. By entering in this way, we can reduce the amount of foot traffic to each career technical lab and promote social distancing. The first week of school will be a short one, just 3 days for students, and begins on Wednesday, August 26th. On that first day, incoming students will report to CTC's campus all day. Returning students will be online. On Thursday, Group B students will be on campus and Group A will be online. And on Friday, it will be the reverse, with Group A on campus and Group B online. Beginning Monday, August 31st, students will follow their Plan 2 schedule according to whether they are in Group A or Group B. Group A will be on CTC's campus Monday and Tuesday, with online learning activities and attendance Wednesday through Friday. Group B will have online learning and attendance from Monday through Wednesday, and they'll be on CTC's campus Thursday and Friday. Students are going to be grouped into groups A or B based on the career technical program that they're a part of and whether they're in the first or the second year of that program. All of this information can be found on the CTC's website. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, so I got a couple of questions here regarding this video. The first one is, why did we choose to not divide the groups up so that all seniors were coming in one group and all juniors in the other group? And that's a great question, and the reason is because our whole plan is devised around providing workforce development training in the health in the safest way possible given what is going on in the world today. And we have such a large group of juniors that would have almost been 1.5 times larger on that day than if we than the senior day. So by switching them a little bit, we're able to even it out. And then when you come back to school, it also would be evened out with respect to some of the other things that happen here, like lunch will be more even. So that is the answer to that question.
Let's see.
Nate Lasso, sir, do you have the, what group will job training seniors be in? Or Laurel Lemmer, if one of you two would answer that question, please.
I know job training is divided as to whether they're in group 1 or group 2. I believe we're going to be reaching out to those students individually to let them know what group they're a part of, just because of the way the scheduling for job training worked out. I was going to work that out with Mrs. Oder as far as how we wanted to contact them.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Lasso, there's a question about, and this is coming from Tabitha, when will your 2 students receive their schedule and when will they get the opportunity to sign up for their electives?
So I believe year 2 students, some did have the opportunity to sign up for electives in the spring. Others are already being placed into some electives and will have the opportunity to change them if the opportunity arises here early in the year. As far as when will you receive your schedule, hopefully soon. We should hopefully have schedules done very soon. I'd like to have them, if not by the end of the week, sometime next week, but we're still ironing out a few details.
Okay, thank you. The question on the table is the open house just a walkthrough, or will the students be meeting teachers and getting more information for their classes? So it's kind of, it's not a walkthrough at all. What we are asking you to do, as you saw in the video, is to find the location where you would be entering in order to report to your lab. You will also be, your career tech teacher will be paired with another academic teacher. So you will meet those 2 teachers in that space. One of the things we are planning to do is create a video of all academic teachers, so you have at least the opportunity to meet them virtually. And then, of course, our first couple of days will be opportunities to do that as well. So if you're talking about a new incoming student, we're going to be introducing you to your teachers virtually, the ones that you didn't meet on the open house. During the open house, you'll have a great opportunity to see the lab, to see how that particular lab is set up for health and safety measures, and to really get to know that instructor. Question is, if a student is being dropped off instead of riding the bus, what's the earliest time that we can drop them off? So that's one of those things that I think I'm going to turn over to Mr. James, if you would like to answer that question.
We're still working on those things, but what we do know is that we're going to probably be bringing them into the lunchroom, the cafeteria there, and spacing them out for those people that have to be dropped off early, either by parent or by bus. And the earliest probably they could be here would be about 7:15 is about as early as we've had the doors open.
Thank you. Question is, are all the labs all day long when they are on campus? And if so, how does this work for half-day students? The answer is yes, all labs are all day when on campus. And for half-day students, Mrs. Cross, one of our guidance counselors, is going to be reaching out to you if she hasn't done so already. She's working that out specifically with your homeschool to make sure that we can have that happen for you. And they're all unique situations regarding why a student is half-day. So it's not a one-shot answer, but that's how you will know. Mrs. Cross will reach out to you. Same thing for Kelsey. Kelsey's question is specific to Clark State half-day students. I do know Clark State is already aware of this and is working through it with us. And one of the things that we would say is maybe look at when look at when Clark State courses are being offered and look at when you're here. And if you have the opportunity to schedule your Clark State on the days you're not here, that would make it really easy. If you don't, then please, Ms. Cross will be the one that will work through that with you. Amanda asked, what are we doing if we aren't getting email updates? And I would suggest, Amanda, if you're a student, I would suggest that you email the IT help desk. Mr. Thurman, can you kind of confirm what that email looks like? If you can email from a personal email, so maybe we can troubleshoot that.
So yeah, that email address is helpdesk@scctc.org. And I typed it in the chat, so you can just copy and paste that if you need that.
Thank you. Has the email to schedule open house appointment already been sent? Ms. Lemmer, could you address that question, please?
So the email has been sent to some labs. They're currently working on it, so it will be in the next day or two that it's going out to everybody.
Samantha asks, will schedules for seniors be done in such a way that what they need to graduate is on there? And the answer to that is yes. But Samantha, we appreciate you being proactive and looking out for yourself. So I would definitely suggest just reviewing that and getting with your counselor when you are on campus, or shooting them an email to address any issues you think you might have. Amanda is a parent. So Amanda, as a parent, you can go ahead and email the help desk at scctc.org, and that will give us your email and we'll add you to that distribution. Okay, if you have a homeschooled student who will do core subjects at home, when they are on campus, they will be here for 2 days for the full day. That is correct. Half of Wednesday will be checking in with their career tech lab instructors as well. So 2 full days here on campus and a half day, whether it's AM or PM labs, will be with their career tech lab instructors. Okay, really great questions. Thank you so much. Again, if you have additional ones regarding these 2 videos, you can hold on to those till the end, but we're going to move forward.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Schaefer, Director of CTE and Student Development. We believe that the value of a student being in school cannot be measured solely by the attainment of passing grades. Research reveals a direct correlation between student attendance and academic success. With that being said, times are certainly different this year, and COVID has made schools and community think differently in terms of schooling and attendance. We want our CTC community to know that we are here to help students be successful and work through the new processes and changes. This video will highlight attendance information. Parents, guardians, and students should understand that attendance will be taken Monday through Friday each week, regardless if the student is on campus or working remotely. Daily attendance will be taken by instructors when students are scheduled to be on campus in their career tech classrooms. On days students are not scheduled to be on campus, daily attendance will still be taken. Attendance will be recorded through their login when students are working remotely on their career tech and academic curriculum. Students who do not log into their scheduled courses will be considered absent for the day. We understand that situations may arise when a student is unable to attend school. Following an absence, a note must be submitted within 3 school days. As students are only in the school building 2 days a week, it is encouraged that a picture of the parent, guardian, or doctor's note be scanned or emailed to attendance@scctc.org. If the note is brought to school upon the student's return, there will be non-contact locked drop boxes where a student can drop their attendance note. In the event that a student needs to leave campus early for an appointment, a parent-guardian note should be scanned or emailed or dropped into the student drop boxes at the beginning of the day so the attendance office can contact the instructor and arrange student departure at the appropriate time. Students will not be allowed to leave campus without written documentation from the parent via the attendance office. In the event that a student becomes ill and needs to leave campus unexpectedly during the school day, CTC would still need written documentation that the parent guardian is taking the student off campus or written documentation that a designated person is picking up the student with the parent guardian's permission. Parent guardians or designated persons should call from the parking lot to indicate their arrival so staff can call for the student. Designated persons should be indicated on the emergency medical authorization form, and those picking up students should bring a state-issued ID. This is all done for the safety of our students. Parent guardians should communicate with the school attendance office in regards to unique situations and to report student absences. Additional information about basic attendance policy can be found in our Student Parent Handbook on the Scctc website. We, as the CTC staff, are committed to your students' education, and we ask that students must commit to being actively engaged while in their labs and while working remotely on their online coursework.
Okay, so thank you for the questions that have come in. There is a question about students who don't have a CTC email yet, how they get one, or when they get one. And Mr. Throman, our IT director, if you would respond to that question, please, about when a student receives their CTC email.
Yes, all students will receive their CTC email on the first day of school. They will get that. It's actually probably one of the first things they're going to do in their lab, just because those first year students, we also want to submit their order for lunch. And for them to be able to do that, they have to be able to log into their Chromebook. So those are some of the first tasks that will happen day one. In order to do that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later, the online forms do need to be completed so that they can get access to everything and actually be up and participating in lab.
Okay. Question about attendance, and it is, do students have to be up at certain times for attendance? And the answer is yes. As you saw in that very first graphic on the first page, we're preparing for different circumstances. In the spring, we were on crisis mode and attendance didn't have to be reported. We do have to report daily attendance as if we were in person with our remote and hybrid planning. So we will have scheduled times for you, and that schedule, the draft of it is posted, and then you will receive individual ones as students, hopefully later this week, that tells you a little more detail of when you're logging in and for what classes. Haley, the question is, are the virtual classes live with a teacher at set times each day? Our regular virtual classes are definitely live with one of our teachers, and they will be at set times each day. If a student happens to be doing credit recovery or something of that nature, that's not necessarily live with a teacher, but you will be assigned an individual who will be checking in with you unless you have that assigned as an elective period. And in that case, yes, you would be checking in with that individual. Mr. James, is there anything that I missed on that particular question about live classes with teachers at set times?
No, yeah, you hit it all, because the one thing I was going to add was the part that you talked about with the virtual class.
Okay, so great. If a student drives themselves to school and they are sick, can they drive themselves home with a note from a parent? Mrs. Schaefer, I'm going to have you kind of chime in on your process for that. If a student drives themselves to work or to school and they need to drive home, can they do so with a note from a parent? Maybe Mrs. Schaefer is not on here, but the answer, Mr. James?
Well, I mean, to answer that, I mean, if I'm trying to understand that right, they drive themselves to school and they are sick. I'm assuming they're coming to school sick. But I mean, if they're a parent or guardian allows a student to drive home sick, and we have evidence of that, we can't allow that.
And definitely the daily symptoms checks are something that we would also encourage you to do before you get here. That way, when you get here and you fill that out, you already pretty much know your status. So please, especially with what's going on right now, if a student happens to be sick and they're here or they come sick, that you really assess what that looks like and maybe make a different decision. When will students get their Chromebooks? Mr. Thoman, would you answer when will students get their Chromebooks?
So as long as their forms are done and completed, they will get their Chromebooks the first day they are here on campus. So for all of our students, this is their first day on campus. It'll be Wednesday, August 26th. We just have to make sure that their I guess student demographic and EMA form is complete.
Yes. And so then there was clarification on the sick question. If a student has come, they felt well, and then all of a sudden they don't feel well, then, and Mrs. Schaefer has weighed in writing, if they do get here and find that to be the circumstance, we have a nurse here. We will, and just for the safety of everyone, we will have 2 separate locations for those that are appearing as if they have potential coronavirus symptoms and those that are not. So the nurse will assess that situation with your student when the student goes there, and then we'll contact the parent, and that's how you will be able to go through the process and get that excused for that student to drive home. The question is, when can first-time juniors come in for their orientation? The 2 days that we're asking you to sign up for are either next Thursday, which I believe is the 20th, or Friday, the 21st. So there'll be blocks of time in the sign-up. You will receive information on that. And if somebody else has already signed up for your first pick, it will not allow you to sign up for that, and you will have to go in and select another time slot. Question is, what if something happens to my, anything I have from the district that is IT? So in this particular case, Chromebook charger is ruined. What do I do to get a new charger? You will email the help desk, and Mr. Thoman, if you want to pop that up on the screen again, and explain the circumstances. He put that in the chat box. If you're not looking at the chat box or you don't have access to it, it's helpdesk@scctc.org. Mrs. Lemmer, the question is, where do we sign up for orientation? So Mrs. Lemmer, if you would explain where they sign up for orientation. You're welcome, Jackson.
So the orientation invitations will be sent via email to the student parent account, which is linked to the student's original application. We're also going to copy it to the incoming students' email if that's available as well.
Okay, thank you. No problem, Haley. We completely understand. The only other question that Haley had is whether a second-year student needs to complete the EMAs again, and the answer is yes. We want you to go on that link as it was provided in the video and fill those out again, just in case there are any changes and such, and to let us know that everything's current. Okay. Thank you, Haley. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Everyone else, we're going to move on to the next video about PPE. Hello, this is Michelle Patrick, Superintendent of the CTC. Thinking safety as a part of everyone's job is how we have always operated within the lab setting, as this is a natural part of workforce development. This video is intended to showcase how we continue to implement industry-specific standards and add industry-specific COVID standards within our lab setting. It's common to see signs such as this and the MSDS information around our labs. It is required that students wear personal protective equipment relevant to their lab setting at all times. As you can see from these photos, masks, gloves, and face shields are common here. Protective eyewear and hair covering are also common. Hard hats, proper welding gear, and eye protection are always mandatory. This year will be no different. It is also common to build in proper industry-specific sanitizing and cleaning competencies. This year we have added areas that will house extra sanitizer and paper towel stations. These can be used to sanitize hands and to sanitize surfaces or commonly used equipment. In addition to custodial staff cleaning and disinfecting, staff and students will be expected to sanitize equipment before and after use. We know that maintaining a 6-foot distance between individuals is important in all settings. Signs and markers, such as what you see here, will be inside of all areas that will be used by staff and students. When there is slightly less than 6 foot, we have incorporated what industry tells us to do and created barriers between individuals like the ones you see in this photo. Face coverings will be required as they are a statewide mandate and they are required within all or most business and industry. These must cover the nose and mouth and can be provided by the student as long as they are school appropriate. We are also providing each CTC student with a white washable face mask you see in the left photo. It does have stretchy and adjustable ear loops. We will provide students with a washable CTC gator scarf, also seen in the left photo, that can be lifted up and down easily and is also great for adding warmth when needed. We are aware that not all individuals can wear a face covering for medical reasons. We will also have face shields that you see in the photo on the right on hand as well. In addition to what I've already covered, we will provide daily wellness symptom assessment checks. We will create an environment that has limited travel. This includes lunchtime. Rather than students congregating in the lunchroom, we will be bringing lunch and breakfast to them. We will require frequent hand washing. We will discard magazines that would have originally been used for customer use. We will not be allowed to provide product samples this year. We will limit groupings when it comes to learning. We will provide industry-related customer service with parameters, and we will allow for early placement in safe environments. We hope that by watching this video, you feel safe and secure, that we will be taking all precautions necessary to maintain health and safety during this time, while also allowing our students to continue their workforce development, career-based lab instruction. Okay, thank you guys for the comments. The barriers being good, we will have those wherever they are necessary. And for those of you who might also share in with Jackson, you don't want to miss anything, we have all of these posted as well on our website, and we'll send you those links via Facebook and again in the email. So you can rewatch this again, and definitely we'll have a forms section up there where you can ask us questions. So please ask anything you need to ask so we can help you feel that your son or daughter will be safe and secure. So the question about will they have to do the daily wellness check when they are remote learning, I'm going to get with my team on that one. Before we had originally thought no, but it's probably still a good idea. So we're going to get back to you on that one. Are they supposed to do them before they come to school? We're going to provide time every day for students to get on our website and complete their daily wellness check. If they've done it before they come to school and they just want to show their teacher that when they get here, that is fine, because we will have a log of it. The way that the system works, it'll tell us, it timestamps literally when they enter it, so that it would be fine. Jackson asks the question, and Ms. Lemmer, please be prepared to chime in here if I get this wrong or you want to add to it. The forms need a student login ID number in order to complete. Where do I find those? Will those be emailed as well? Is my understanding those will be snail mailed or USPS mailed, but Ms. Lemmer, could you verify?
That is correct. They were mailed out Monday, so you should be receiving them any day now. If you still don't have them by the end of this week, go ahead and call the school. We can definitely provide those for you.
Okay. Are there going to be vaccines needed for seniors, or is there a place online we can look to see all needed vaccines? Amanda, you may have stumped me there. My school nurse is in charge of tracking all needed vaccines, and in some cases we have additional requirements based on the program. So what we will do is have the school nurse reach out if there is anything needed for any individual students, unless one of my admin team has more to add to that. Okay. It is being suggested that we do wellness checks every day, and that is noted, sir. Okay, thank you all for those questions. We're going to move on to the next video.
Hello again. I'm Nathan Lasso, Director of Career Tech Education and Student Services. I just want you to know that our counselors are here to help. You can reach them through email, or once school has started, we'll have an online form available to students to schedule a time to meet with their counselor. If you're a half-day student, you should know that our counselors have already reached out to your homeschool counselors to work for you to develop the best schedule possible between the CTC and your home school. In addition to CTC school counselors, we have a counselor from the Clark County Educational Service Center who's returning to our campus this year for 3 days a week to help us provide more comprehensive services. If you should have any questions about our counseling services, please don't hesitate to email or call us to find out more information. Thank you.
Okay, so I don't see any questions pertaining to that particular video, but I do see an answer from one of our staff that says that if they have not gotten their meningitis vaccine yet, they are due for it. So that is something to note. And that, of course, goes back to that question about vaccines. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laurel Lemmer, EMIS Coordinator for Springfield-Clark Career Technology Center, and today we are going to go through online forms. Online forms are required for every student each school year. Just a few reminders. To complete the forms, you will need the student number. This student number was sent in a mailing to your house, or you can call the school. If your student attended CTC last year, you can look on an old report card or interim from the school, and that also would contain the student number. Also, the student's parent or guardian should be completing these forms. And finally, student forms must be completed before student Chromebooks will be issued. So please have these forms completed by August 21st, so that by August 26th, the first day of school, Chromebooks will be able to be issued. To access the online forms, you'll go to the scctc.org website, and under the header of students/parents, scroll down to parents, and here you'll find online student forms. This is the portal page once you've clicked in. The parent login is available here. If you don't remember your credential, which is your username, then click over here under Forgot Credentials. If you do not remember your password, you can change it here. Or if you were not the person who created the account when the student applied into attending here, then you can create a new account over here. Once you've signed in, this will be the screen that you will see. The first thing you'll need to do is attach a student to your account. So right up here in this blue hyperlink, click there. To attach the student, you'll need to enter the student last name, the grade level they will be in this year, their date of birth, and their student number. And again, that student number was in a mailing or can be found on a report card or interim if your student attended CTC last year. Once you have completed that, click Attach, and you will have a message verifying that the student has been added. If you have multiple students, you will need to repeat adding the student until all students have been added. Once all the students have been added, you'll click View Online Forms. Here, if you have multiple students, there will be a drop-down list showing the multiple students, and you will need to complete a form for each student if you have multiple students. So you'll come over here to the form, Student Demographics and EMA, and you will complete the form, and make sure when you complete the form that you click Save and Submit to District. That is the only way the district will actually receive the form. If you just save it, it will not submit to us. A few tips. One of the items you'll have to fill out on the form is to confirm your address. If you have moved, you will need to provide proof of residence if your homeschool does not already have your new address. So if the address in the system is different than where you currently live, you will need to provide proof of residence to us or to your homeschool, unless the homeschool already has your new address. And we will check that once the form has been received. Also, please note that if someone other than the parent or guardian needs to pick up your student, they must be listed on the EMA form. Please also know that you can update this form throughout the year. So if those contacts that you are authorizing to pick up your student change, then please go in and update those. The student parking permit form is also found on online forms. So if your student needs one, do complete that here. Once paid for, parking passes will be distributed through the lab teacher. If you have any questions or need any help, please call the school at 937-325-7368.
Okay, so we don't appear to have questions specific to the forms themselves. We do have a question about lunch during virtual learning. We will have built-in breaks that would make a natural time for lunch. And so the answer is yes, we will have built-in time for students to have breakfast and to have lunch. I'm missing here something, I think. Oh, if a student gets their driver's license after school starts, should they get the pass at the beginning? We will not be able to issue the pass until they have their driver's license. So you can complete that at any time and prove the driver's license and insurance once that has happened. And then we will issue a pass, parking pass. Okay, question about COVID. If a student gets COVID or is exposed and needs to be in quarantine, will the student be online for the entire week, or will they be excused for 2 days and be online for the normal 3 days? So we are working on those details, Amanda and everyone else that is on here. Our hope is to have the opportunity and ability for them to still be able to at least log in and see their lab. We know they won't be able to obtain the hands-on component, but we will definitely deal with those each case as they come. So great question. Lots to think about with respect to COVID and some of the what ifs and when this happens, what we'll be able to do. Is there driver's ed? We do not have driver's ed here, Connie. And interesting that you say that. We're exploring it. We just don't have it yet. Jackson, we completely understand. Okay, I think I got all of those, so we're going to go ahead and head to the next video.
Hello and welcome to the CTC. I'm Jeff Thoman. I'm the Technology Director here at the CTC. Each student attending the CTC will be issued a CTC Chromebook and will need to have access to the internet at home. We are asking you to specify if you have internet access when you complete your forms online. This is to ensure that students are prepared for remote learning. If you do not have internet access at home, someone from the technology department will reach out to you and your student to work on alternative plans. Students whose online forms are completed by August 21st will receive their Chromebook in their lab on the first day of school. Once your student has received their Chromebook, staff are available throughout the day to troubleshoot problems with their devices. If you are having problems with your Chromebook, we will work with you and your lab instructors and other instructors to troubleshoot the problem remotely, and if necessary, we will arrange a time to provide you with a learner device while a repair is made. If there is any damage or any problem with your device, if it's lost or stolen, please contact our help desk as soon as possible. Please do not attempt to repair the device yourself or take it to a repair location. The device is still the property of the CTC and must be maintained by our providers to not void the warranty. Whenever we are working on a machine or our providers, we will be sanitizing equipment following recommendations by the CDC and the manufacturer. Please do not spray or use any cleaners directly on the Chromebook or wash the device with soap and water. These things can ruin the Chromebook and void the warranty on the device. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and we look forward to having a great year.
Hello and welcome to
Okay, great question. The question came on, if the internet for some reason goes out at home and it's unexpected, will there be an emergency phone number for the students to call to let the school know? So Mr. Thoman, I apologize, I didn't give you the heads up on that one. If that would be you, if the internet goes out at a student's home, can they contact an emergency phone number in order to let the school know?
Sure. So if the internet goes out while you are in the middle of the day or while you're working, if you're having problems with it, we do want to know if you can call our main number. There is a prompt for the technology department. I don't remember which button it is, but you can either hit that number or dial extension 258, and that rings our help desk. If it is something that you were trying to get into a lesson, one of the things that the instructors will be giving you should be their contact information as well. So notify us, but also work to notify your instructor so that they are aware of the problem as we're trying to help you fix it. Our goal is to help get you back online as much as possible, and we'll help with what we can with our device. But sometimes when it comes to your equipment at home, there's not a lot that we can do to fix equipment remotely unless it's our equipment.
And then Mr. Thoman, actually, another question came up that is for you. The question is, can they wipe their Chromebook down with anything like a disinfectant wipe?
So you can use a disinfectant wipe. Really what we use here is a isopropyl alcohol, 70%, that we spray onto a lint-free cloth. And we use that, it's 70% or higher, to just help clean anything that's off on it. Disinfectant wipes are okay, but we don't want to wipe the screens with those. A lot of those cleaners can leave a film, but they can also take some of the finish off and do other damage to the device. So, and we will have wipes and other things available here at the school if that's something that your student needs. I know some of the other lab spaces, they share common equipment. That's going to be available in those labs to use daily.
Okay, the question was, what number did Mr. Thilman give to be able to call? And that is our main number. I did put it in the chat box in case you want to reference it there and write it down. But our main number is 937-325-7368. And the extension he referenced is 258. Or you can follow the prompts to the technology department. Okay. Thank you guys for those questions. We'll move on to the next one.
Springfield-Clark CTC. My name is Mrs. Ayers and I'm the central cashier. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are strongly encouraging parents to pay school fees online using a credit card. This tutorial will walk you through on how to set up your account on EasyPay, which will allow you to view your students' school fees, along with pay them and apply funds to your student's lunch account. First, you will go to our website, which is scctc.org. Once you are there, you'll take your cursor and hover over the Students and Parents tab. A drop-down will appear. You will go down to the Parents tab, slide your cursor over to the second drop-down, and click on Make Payments Online. This will take you directly to the EasyPay website. You will click on Create an Account. You will follow these 3 easy steps. The only information that you would need from us is your student's ID number. You can find this ID number on the letter that was sent out about CTC's Restart Plan, their schedule, interim or grade cards when those start going out, or you can call my office at 937-325-7368, extension 118 to find out the number or if you have any questions. Please note that if your student had an account set up at their homeschool for EasyPay, that account will not be linked to Springfield-Clark CTC. You will need to create a new one. If you choose to send cash or check to the school, your student will need to request a payment pickup through a Google form. This is being done to minimize student travel and maintain distancing. We hope your student has a wonderful school year, and we thank you for choosing CTC.
Okay, the question is, when will fees be loaded into the system so that we can start paying on them? That's a great question, Tabitha. We are working on making sure we are on the same page with those and getting those uploaded by the end of this week. So you should see those by the start of next week. Question, is there a way to transfer funds from the homeschool account to the new CTC account? And my gut response to that, Jackson, says no, that you would need to go through your homeschool account, get that refunded to you, and then you would do that because we are 2 separate entities, and that is why you have to establish it separately, as Mrs. Ayers had said in that video. So if I'm wrong on that, I will shoot that out to the in an email to the entire group that is on here. Oh, EasyPay does have an app. Thank you, Connie. And Connie or Mr. James, do you happen to know the question about price for breakfast and lunch right now? We haven't had it board approved yet, so which
yeah,
goes.
I was worried you were going to ask. I don't know.
Okay, Connie, I apologize. We don't have that yet from our food service director, and I anticipate getting that within the next day and then putting that before our board on Monday. Okay, thank you guys for those questions. We're going to move to the next.
Hi. I'm Chris James, Executive Director at the CTC. Since we believe that the best way to prepare students for industry is by being able to train them as they physically report to their labs, we've worked hard with the priority being to safely have students back on our campus. Since our current plan is to have students on campus only for their programs, we've taken time to set up expectations in each lab, starting with the design of spaces being used. We took the time to space seating and/or add dividers in areas where students would be sitting in groups. We also identified the spaces for lunch and in the lab areas or in nearby classrooms in order to keep students separated as much as possible. While training in the actual labs, our instructors will be operating under current industry standard expectations. We believe that our students need to be trained in a way that would allow them to work in industry even in the current environment. Many programs will still be working with client services in the community, such as our culinary program and running a restaurant, cosmetology services, automotive services, veterinary sciences services, and more. Further, we also still have many students who will be taking advantage of our job placement program. This is when a student is who is eligible, they will secure a position where they can work, and that work in a position or internship will serve in place of the experience that they would get in their lab. We already have students working full-time in auto tech, applied engineering, welding, and the electrical trades. These students will be able to keep up with their academics through distance learning and work each day instead of reporting to their labs. This is a great option for those who are eligible, so if desired, students can speak to their lab instructors. Thanks for the time, and we look forward to seeing our students back on campus.
Thank you so much, Jackson. Question, will buses still be picking students up at their home schools and bringing them to CTC? So transportation is completely the responsibility of the homeschool. I would suggest contacting that transportation department and asking them if there are alternative arrangements this year, because things are a little bit different. But the short answer is buses will transport them if they normally need to be on a bus from the homeschool to here, but what their routes look like might be different, and they're definitely the experts on that. Mrs. Schaefer also wanted to clarify what it means for leaving campus if they became sick while on campus. Once they visit the clinic, the nurse is going to assess and determine if they need to go home. If she determines that, the student will then be excused. We would still need parent permission for the student to leave campus, whether or not they're leaving campus in their own vehicle or being picked up by somebody who is on their emergency medical authorization form. There appears to be a question about credits and transferring to CTC. Your homeschool credits, and in this case it would be Greenon, transferred to the CTC? And the answer is yes, but also keep in mind we don't offer the actual transcripts. Greenon ultimately authorizes the credits we have here in order for you to graduate. So it's kind of a web and flow back and forth, an ebb and flow, if you will. So you will definitely receive credit for what you've taken already, and vice versa. They will provide you with transcripted credit for what you take while you are here. Will extracurricular activities still be available, such as Skills USA, National Honor Society? We also have, for those of you who are new, National Technical Honor Society, etc. The answer is yes, we will find a way to make those extracurricular activities available with respect to some of the larger career tech student organizations, such as Skills USA, FFA, BPA, FCCLA, and Educators Rising. That will be very much dependent upon what they are doing at the state level and the regional levels in order to guide how and what we are able to do here at the local level. So we will definitely keep students and parents informed as we receive more guidance on those. Question from Jackson. I may have missed this, but when will students receive their schedules, especially for their general ed classes? Actually, that's okay. Jackson, we are looking at sending those out via USPS mail at the end of this week. On August 26th, will all incoming students be on a campus? The answer to that is no. Only those who are new to the CTC will be on campus, and that actually kind of goes back to Mr. Lasso's email. He had a pretty good little visual, or not email, I'm sorry, his video. He had a pretty good little visual on that. Mr. Lasso, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think we're pretty good. It's just going to be all first-year students in their programs.
Ah, there we go. Nice. There's a visual for you. That actually is also living on the same page on our website where you will find this Zoom recorded video as well as all of the small video snippets. So if you ever have a question about a document you thought you might have missed or something, please check out that site. And we're hoping that we've been ahead of the game and proactive enough to get everything up there. Okay. So again, thank you all so much for being here today. You had some great questions, some thought-provoking questions. Oh, one more came in. Are the Scctc emails for the students different than their homeschool emails? The answer to that is yes. After you have completed your students' forms and they come in on the first day, they will receive their Google Chromebook and they will also receive their Scctc email and information on how to access that. Question about homeschool students. If they are not taking their general ed classes here, do they do the virtual learning days after they attend their lab days? So honestly, your schedule at home and in the homeschooling aspect of it is completely up to you. We just need them to be here for lab on the 2 days that their labs are running, and then be online on Wednesday for the time that their lab will be scheduled online. So you can definitely create your homeschooled schedule around that. Absolutely. Okay, thank you all so much again. There is a survey there, allows you to go in and enter any feedback. We will have that form for you to continue to ask us questions, please. I know that this was a lot to digest. It's been a lot to put together. I have the most amazing team out there. You saw a little bit from every single one of them in their videos. Without them, without our staff working weekly on this, and sometimes around the clock, we wouldn't have this plan. We appreciate your feedback and your input today, and we hope and can't wait to see your students next week, hopefully for our open house, and then of course the week after on the 26th. So have a great day, everybody.